Welcome back to BellCo Productions' presentation of the Lake Marshall Open. This is a PDGA B tier in Montrose, Virginia, presented by Knowledge Management Incorporated. Additionally, we'd like to thank Throne Disc Golf for their video sponsorship, and a big thank you to the Nova Disc Golf Association for being the course sponsor for the Lair at this big event. I'm Andrew Fish, joined in the booth by Zach Melton.
Hello everybody, welcome back.
So if you didn't catch the front nine, please go watch that. The Lair is one of my favorite courses. Requires a lot of technicality. It's got some neat elevation changes and incorporates the lake a lot.
Yeah, I think elevation change in the woods is a factor that a lot of people don't get to play, and it's very challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we want to thank Nova Disc Golf Association for their course sponsorship. Kind of a local club. Montrose, Virginia is out on the northern neck, and it's a little bit middle of nowhere, but Lake Marshall's such a wonderful place to spend a day, spend a weekend.
Yeah, so whole 10 here we have a split fairway. I believe that the left side is the cleaner of the two routes, but it's also tighter. It's takes more precision. I think the right gap is a little bigger, but it pinches at the end, and I usually play like an overstable disc down the right and have it finish left of the basket. I think that's the cleanest way to play it.
What does Cody think?
And Cody thinks, I just want to dump this in.
Yeah, good little zone skip shot from him. So I agree with you. I think that the way to park it reliably is to take the left side. The way to get most of the way down is to go right.
Yeah, I think you saw Cody and Matt both throw very similar shots, and one got through and skipped and hit the basket, almost went in, and Matt got caught up on that right side.
Yeah. Very nice approach from out of position by Timmy. We've seen him have a couple struggles, but also some really good highlights with his forehand and his putting.
Yeah, he's scrambling well. He's just not scoring as well as you would hope.
Absolutely. And you're going to continue your excellent work from outside the circle, pushing you to -6 on the round.
Yeah, with this hole in particular, it's almost kind of a guarantee that if I throw over stable, it ends up in that circle 2 range, edge of circle. It's almost about a guarantee to have a look. It's just not parked, and today the putter's going in and feeling good. So
yeah, a lot of disc golf is, you can't count on parking things, so you just need to give yourself as many chances as you can to score.
Yeah, opportunities.
Hole 11 is a very demanding par 4. There's going to be water all the way on the right side and beyond the green, and then kind of a rolling hill fairway.
Yeah, I think this is one of the more picturesque holes on the property. It looks fairly simple, but at least in my experiences, it's very difficult to get away with the birdie.
And what we're flying through right now, I think is affectionately nicknamed the Pillars of Justice. You get a big tunnel as you're approaching the green.
Yeah, it's about 150 short of the basket. Nice little bottleneck, and you don't. Obviously, water to the right, you don't want to miss right, but missing long or kind of far into the left rough, it's pretty difficult to get up and down.
Right, and I think this initial tee shot is a very good shape for the lefty as long as you can hold it over for most of its flight.
Yeah, I have a very up and down relationship with this hole, you could say, and I hate missing right into the lake. It's basically an instant bogey, so I was definitely trying to pull that shot over. Just pulled it a little too much. Cody showing us how it's done with just a nice straight mid.
We see Timmy going back to that backhand. He's going to hug the entire left side, but spits him to a wonderful spot.
Yes, not a bad result at all. Hammer with a scowl on his face. He's mad at this hole.
Very determined. And not bad. He may be short enough that he'll still have an angle into the green, but he's pushed pretty far left.
Yeah, I'm a little more left than Hammer, and you can see how steep the angle is. And I was a little worried at that. I was getting kind of greedy, trying to slice through the pillars, and got a pretty friendly tree kicked into the fairway.
Right. Hammer's going to saw that off. He he's going to be scrambling for his life now.
Yeah, he got the opposite of a friendly kick.
Cody, oh, I love that. I loved that past tense.
Yes, the wind was picking up when we were throwing these approaches, and Cody didn't really mean to throw it as high as it did. It just kind of lifted a little bit. His line was perfect. And he got iron branched. Iron limbed real bad.
And that leaves you with a forehand approach. Good soft landing. There is a slight downslope behind this basket, and then around circle's edge is water again. I think a big theme on this course is that there's no incentive to just blast by the basket at chain height and take your comeback putt if you go in the water. Like, you have to work if you go out of bounds anywhere.
Yeah, I completely agree. Control is rewarded. You can't just kind of be blasting all over the course and running everything like Cody.
Boy, he honestly doesn't deserve that. He executed 2 excellent shots and then had to, work from circle 2 for his birdie.
Yeah, I love how he left his drive short, but knew he could put it in the middle and just had the best angle of anyone.
Hammer scoots off the top of the basket and is at nearly the same distance for his comeback 5.
Yeah, that would have been an impressive par save.
He seemed a little tentative there.
Yeah, it took him a while to set this up. Like I said, the wind was picking up a little bit, and it just kind of makes those circle's edge testers a little more scary.
Right. But you're boosting that lead. I know there's a little bit of action on the chase card as Sam Shiley and I are putting together some pretty decent rounds, but you're pulling clear of this lead card.
Yeah, Matt was closest, and he's just found some trouble spots, and Cody and Timmy haven't really been able to get it going. I wouldn't say they're playing awful, but they just haven't been able to string together a bunch of birdies.
Yeah, for sure. Birdie Bid, securely buy and sell new and used equipment on a site dedicated to disc golf. Whether you're a collector, custom dyer, or a golfer looking to shop savvy, check out birdiebid.com, a PayPal-supported site. This hole 12, fairly short par 3 with a decisive left turn. Interesting to me that you're going turnover.
Yeah, I would say holes 11 and 12 are probably my worst on the course. Hole 12, I think I throw a different shot every time. I just alternate between sidearm and backhand.
Very nice by Cody.
Yeah, I wish I could copy that line with forehand. I know I can, but it's just, I don't.
I kind of like this outside play with a turning forehand. I think that makes everything as wide as possible. The backhand up the middle tends to either stay inside or push too far straight.
Yeah, there's one tree to miss, and that's the one that Matt clipped off of, and he has found way right side rough. I mean, you can't even tell he's on a disc golf course.
Yeah, this has got to be one of those shots where during your practice round you pick up and say, I could never land here.
Yeah, you're like, no, I'll play the other. I'll play the other one.
All right. Once again, a little uphill putt from about circle's edge.
Yeah, I liked Timmy's shot because he had a little more height than me, and so it leaves me with a little bit of a tester. And
wow,
you cannot miss on a hillside. You just can't. You can't miss low on the cage.
Yeah, that's heartbreak.
Jump putting as hard as I possibly can. Barely get there, so just take the bogey. I'm like, well, that's why you don't miss the first one.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Timmy continues the hot putting. Got a little pep in his step. He's liking it.
And Cody to match.
Yeah, I think it's important to notice where Timmy had the height on his throw, even though he went sidearm and went backhand. He was more putting across the hill instead of uphill.
For sure, and that's a huge difference here. It makes the apparent angle of the chains a lot wider.
Yeah, I probably had like 32 feet uphill, which probably putted like 40.
That'll take us to hole 13. This is a a weird shape. I think it takes at least a couple plays to figure out where you need your disc to break, where you want to land, and then how to throw an approach.
Yeah, it's a kind of a funky angle. You're probably wanting to throw something understable on angle and get it to kind of drift to the right.
If you're throwing a righty backhand?
Yeah, but me throwing a lefty backhand, I throw understable on a lot of hyzer and get it to kind of flip up and drift. Right?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
This basket position is kind of cool in that it was an old horse and buggy loading dock for timber in the 1880s or so. Another example of neat features from this property that we get to use.
Yeah, very unique green. Makes it more fun to play.
Cody, I think that's a Comet. Going for a turnover shot. Seems like that got cut down a little early.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a Comet or a Meteor. I just knew it was understable and flew really nice.
You are so sneaky.
I want to say you don't want to go early right, but Timmy shows there are gaps over there.
Yeah, I wouldn't prescribe it, but if it works, it works.
And I tried to follow Timmy. Didn't work. I don't know if you could read my face.
Yeah, I think the grimace tells it all.
Early right is very tough. I think that brings almost all the trees in the hole into play, trying to scramble to the basket.
For sure. Hammer with a pretty good shot. He's going to end up a little throwlery, but made the initial gap.
Yeah, good distance. I'm trying to put it vertical and kind of bite off a lot of distance, and the wind had kind of picked up on the course here, so I was just choosing a bunch of small gaps and trying to bite off as much as I could.
Yeah, this is an example where the fairway is fair, but anything off of that narrow route is, it's totally unpredictable what you're going to get.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I think Matt would love to have that upshot back. He was pretty good spot.
Yeah, it seemed like he threw that in with all arm, no legs at all. You're back to the forehand well.
Yeah, I was really hunting that hillside, and I missed it by about 2 feet high.
You bury into that as the tap in. If you sail it, like you're finding, it's going to be circle's edge.
Yeah, it's probably going to be about a 40-foot uphill par save. Pretty quality approach by Timmy. That's one of those that was a pretty quality bid, but out of your hand, it just wasn't good enough.
All you have left is hope.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very nice by Cody.
Yeah, there are quite a few players I think that would think about laying that up. I don't think there was any thought from Cody.
And solid again by Timmy.
He's hit some really good birdie putts.
Yeah, and clearly with being able to do that, it's no accident that he ended up on this lead card in a pretty quality regional field.
Yeah, pretty deep. A lot of kind of, I would say, veterans to the property. So him showing up on lead card round 2 is good for him.
Yeah, no doubt. And going to be such good experience with his first time on film, playing on a technical, tough course like this. So hole 14 is going to play almost entirely over water to a peninsula. The closest point to the tee, maybe 260 or so, effective distance.
Yeah, pretty common play is what Cody is showing us, kind of a high right to left shot that sticks the island and has a putt, and he unfortunately hits one of the 3 trees guarding the basket and gets a roll back in. So he'll go to a drop zone, I believe.
Yeah, and that drop zone is no joke. It's about 40 feet looking straight down the hill. And Timmy coming across the basket.
It was
also OB.
It was surprising to see that not stick. It seemed like he missed the tree that Cody hit, hit the island, and then just kind of trickled off.
Hammer a little straighter line. He's going to push deep. And I think that's the right way to do this. You don't try to park the basket. You try to give yourself 20 feet long.
I would agree with that.
So you've gotten a couple good wind reads, and you're going to line up, looks like a forehand felon.
Yeah, gonna basically try to copy Cody's line and just not get unlucky.
Good width. Oh, Zach, yes.
I couldn't believe it stuck. Like, it froze for a second, and like, oh man, it felt like it took an eternity to realize that was in. And then I heard Cody yelling, heard Tony Ellis across the pond or the lake, made Timmy give me a high five. Hammer tried to snail me, and that's actually Timmy's little brother who was caddying for me. And I told him with 2 bogeys back to back, I was about to kick him off the bat. But, the ace saved him.
Good for him.
That name sucks, but it's a good disc.
Unfortunately, I have to shout out Eric Oakley because his name's on it, but
Well, you're the one who threw it, not him.
poor Cody, he's literally telling me as his putter's flying into the lake that he had to run it.
Good branch.
Didn't have to do it.
I have to. That's what he said. I have to run it. He's going to take a double.
And Hammer is going to birdie and lose the box.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about it. He was a little grumpy. He doesn't look too happy. You can tell. He won't even look at the camera.
You got to be a good sport sometimes. At least when the cameras are on. Hole 15, we're peninsula hopping here as well. Best line to take is something with a righty backhand that'll finish a little bit overstable, setting yourself up to an approach. There also is an aggressive play where you could try to reach the second peninsula and shorten the second shot considerably.
Yeah, I think that shot takes every bit of about 450 of hyzer power.
Absolutely, and some wind conditions make it unplayable.
Yeah, what's difficult about this first tee shot, the layup, is you really want to throw at the lake and let it just end up on the edge of the peninsula. And it's just so common to saw it off and end up more on kind of like the high side, and then your angle's a little different.
Right. So you throw that, and it seems like it's, dead straight, going to be pushing the water, and you have 90 feet of real estate ahead of where your disc lands.
Yeah, Hammer seemed to hang his out wide as well, but it finishes more left than you think. It's kind of, you need to be panicked a little out of your hand for it to be in the prime time spot.
Right, and that's an example of like good course design, I think, where you see that drop zone and it seems so easy to hit, but you can easily gain a lot more if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, we have 4 professionals, the lead card guys who played the hot rounds, and no one can stick that drop zone. No one has the guts to put it out wide.
Oh boy, love this from Timmy. He's kind of inventing a gap of his own making.
Yeah, I think that was a reverse patent pending. That's a tough stance.
So, a reverse patent. Is there a patent on that one?
Is that a double patent pending? I don't know.
Something like that. Very good approach.
Yeah, I think Hammer went putter mid to get the birdie. I mean, he's parked, so.
Mm-hmm. It's at 570 and playing a little bit downhill. You don't need to get on one a whole lot. You go forehand to inside the circle.
Yeah, I had a skinny gap to hit off the bat, but throwing over stable, I knew it would come out of it and hopefully get a nice release and flare. This green is pretty quick, I would say, with the pine needles.
Absolutely. And I think for me, a good aiming point is that irrigation hose. That's about 40 feet away from the basket in the gap. They use that for watering many of the upper fields. This is a multi-use property. We've talked about it a little bit. There's lots of produce, and it's a real treat to be able to play here when disc golf is not the primary objective of what the Hutt family is doing.
Got a couple birdies tapping in. Yeah, I think all of us feel pretty fortunate to be able to come up here as much as we do.
Mm-hmm. And it's really neat that this has been 10 years in the making since Trey Hamlet first approached Gary Hutt, and they started conceptualizing what this could look like.
Yeah, I believe I first saw it in 2016.
Sure.
And it was rough, but you could tell that, wow, this could be a really special place. And the work that's gone in over the last 5 or so years is just incredible.
Yeah, such good bones for the property, and I feel like they maximize that. Hole 16, one of the hardest on the property, and certainly the hardest on the lair. It's going to be a par 5 that starts uphill, crosses this valley, and then you've got about a 250-foot approach to the green that slopes off pretty steeply behind it.
Yeah, I would say this is the hardest hole to birdie on the property, in my opinion. It's a super difficult par 5, and then one bad shot and it becomes a par 6.
No doubt.
Yeah.
If you get pinned down in that valley or early left, good luck.
Come on.
And there's a very generous gap down the middle and a smaller gap to the right.
Oh, I was cheesing after that one. I let go and was like, insta 8, just coming at you.
Hammer uses the inside, nearly makes it up to the short tee pad, but he's going to be pinned a little early left.
Yeah, he was just a little tight.
And that's what this hole does. It's going to magnify errors. So a little bit off can be a real killer. Timmy saw your gap and liked it enough to follow.
He loved it. It was looking great. And little tree tap and fairway hit.
Yeah, that's why UDisc stats lie, huh?
They always lie.
Cody playing an attacking shot. This seems to be inside. But wow.
And he went for it all. He went big time. Like, it's not uncommon to see players lay up short right to then throw across a valley, and the driver is a pretty aggressive play, and he pulled it off.
Yeah, I mean, props to him. He's going to be rewarded with a much easier approach. Hammer sticks himself on the hillside, it would seem.
Yeah, looked like his gap just would not let him get the height that he needed to get up top.
Right. And Timmy with a pretty honest, good backhand play, but he's going to get cut down early.
Yeah, I have to give Tony Ellis credit. He told me I could lay up short right down this little tunnel. He didn't tell me to throw it into the trees, but I wasn't far off from my mark, but I do have a swing, thankfully.
Okay, back to that forehand. And holy cow, Zach.
It's still going. It bit off more than I thought. I thought I was going to have a little meat left, and it trickled down to about 40-ish feet, just left side rough.
The kind of thing where you're walking up, looking for it, and it eventually occurs to you it can't possibly be this far.
That's literally exactly what happened. Were you there? Because Cody's like, there's no way. We missed it. It's like, we'll keep looking.
Hammer with technical scramble shot to go backhand roller, and that was looking excellent.
I couldn't tell if that was with a mid or not. I think it was, but the angle looked great. It was an aggressive play because there is a drop off behind this basket.
Cody flex forehand, and from where he was, that's the way to keep the fairway as wide as he can.
Yeah, he got a little too much Anheuser on it. caught a tree on the left, but he's looking at a pretty easy par, which is a great result on hole 16.
For sure.
Except he wants to run it, and still easy par. I was so hoping there was a way to run this, and I was behind one of those hammer walls where there's just no gap, and I just had to turf a layup, and not upset with a par.
Based on where you were and how you got there, a birdie would just be insanely greedy. But if I'm counting correctly, everyone else is going to get par 2.
We all did it differently.
Yes.
Some good scrambling on this hole by our card.
And let's go back out to the open for a couple of holes. We've been, in the woods it takes 25 minutes to play that hole. And hole 17, I really like this. There's some fields on the left that have hosted some of the largest crops of ghost peppers in Virginia. and a fairway that's going to narrow the entire way down as you get into that landing zone, and a drop off not more than 10 or 12 feet beyond the basket.
Yes, straight down, probably 40, 50 feet. You cannot push long on the approach. You have to have distance, or you have to have control.
Yes, absolutely. Pretty good shot by you, testing the width of that left side and taking one skip that leaves you in the clear.
Yeah, the greedier you get on the drive, the closer the OB pinches in with that tree line on the right. So I think the play is to throw it around 300 feet, hit the meat of the fairway, and then try to drop an approach up with their putting.
Yeah, I agree. Timmy goes to his strength at forehand, but doesn't trust it over the OB, just over the OB enough.
It's a difficult. It kind of, it's mind tricks. It's like, I know I want to push the OB, but do I really want to hang it over the OB?
Yeah. Little high release by Cody. He's going to have to lay up for his 4 opportunity.
I think it was kind of fortunate that he dropped straight down off those limbs and did not kick left.
Or right. Nicely done. Swing in a hyzer. Sure.
Yeah, well, pushed far enough on the drive. I was able to go putter on the second shot and kind of use that open space on the left to kind of bring a hyzer in, slow it down.
And Hammer able to throw a straight putter to, 15 feet.
Yeah, it was perfect. And I believe Timmy had to lay up out of the woods, so this is his third.
Correct.
Trying to get up and down, and his shot looked really good, and it just got a little bit of a trickle we couldn't see.
Yeah.
But still has a putt.
And Cody, it's almost like you can't throw this slow enough.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like you let go, and you're just like, come back. No, get down.
Timmy fighting through the woods for his putt. He's going to have to settle for a 5 here.
Good putt by Cody. He had the shortest approach and still pushed it a little long over that edge.
And to extend your lead. Very nice.
Yeah, this is one hole to go. Cody started throwing some jabs, how this course was made for me, because there's 2 lefty tee shots back to back.
I mean, you also aced a lefty hole.
Of course.
Clearly, if you succeeded on it, it becomes a lefty hole.
Of course. I mean, I threw his line better than him, so he gave me that great read. So I got to give him some props, I guess. No, it's always fun getting to play with Matt and Cody, the Virginia homies. Always run into you at this tournament, or usually this property as well. So we all get to play together a lot.
Yeah, this is really developing into a regional hub for disc golf. I expect that they're going to continue to, make some bigger tournaments and draw some bigger fields. And, I know folks from New Jersey and Pennsylvania who don't miss events here, even though it's a, 5-hour drive for them.
Same. We're starting to get a good crew from Tennessee coming up to play as well, and it's like 6 hours.
Hole 18. I think this is a great finishing hole. There's going to be out of bounds to the left on the drive, and it's about 330 feet of open space leading you to this first landing zone. Then you've got to pop over a small valley to the basket that's on the flat with out of bounds behind it as well. Birdie Bid's competitive pricing means more money for you on either end of the transaction. With lower fees than eBay or Etsy, you'll get more for your money at Birdie Bid.
Yeah, this tee shot takes about 330 to get in the optimum position.
Just lefty.
The lefty backhand or the forehand definitely can finish more right, which makes your approach shorter.
Yeah.
Nail that.
Hammer with a gorgeous turnover, but that might leave him a little bit in between the ideal gaps.
Yeah, he's going to have a couple of different hyzer gaps to choose from. It's kind of like an inside hyzer and an extra wide hyzer.
Right. Cody with a pretty good shot. He'll have his pick of gaps too. And boy, I really want to highlight how Timmy just barely seems like he's throwing the disc, and it goes to the landing zone.
Yeah, he threw it 3 feet off the ground, and he's even with Cody's drive, but just a little extra. He pulled it left, and that approach was a lot more longer than he wanted. He was starting to get a little frustrated, even though he still smiles through it, and you could kind of tell in the last couple holes it was starting to leak out. But
these courses are demanding, and I'm not sure what Timmy's local courses are like, but in a competitive round, it really wears on you to have to focus on every shot.
Yeah, this property in particular, there's really no relaxing.
Cody with a straight cap. And boy, what a way to finish. Gonna base the hole.
Yeah, he was kind of in between shots, and I told him just throw a putter straight at it. And he just picked it up and threw it, and he's like, yeah, that was easy.
Well, what's so hard about that? You go forehand. This is a felon, right?
It is. It's the oldest one in my bag. It's 5 years old. It's kind of understable for a felon, but it's nice on a glidey hyzer type shot. And I feel like it's important to note that they're always working on improving out here. This basket used to be about 25-30 right, and they tucked it more to the left to make the second shot more challenging.
And it worked. Like, it's visually deceptive. It makes those right side hyzers. If you want to park it, you have to know your angles so much more.
Yeah, it takes a lot of trust on that upshot.
Hey, best hole I played all week.
And good birdie for Cody to finish.
Yeah, he's going to take his time.
Cody is always a ham on the course. He, plays to the crowd, plays to his card mates a little bit.
But also very supportive.
Yeah.
Very fun to play with. Hammer's just going to drag this out on us.
Yeah, you can't shut him up sometimes.
Yeah.
Good round for him. That'll tie him for second place and keep him on the lead card for Sunday's round.
Yeah, he definitely had some shots he'd like back, but he battled pretty hard.
Yeah, so you see the leaderboard there. Zach, you're out to an 8-stroke lead and getting a little more spread out beyond that.
Yeah, through 2 rounds, it honestly feels like everything's kind of gone as well as it could.
Yeah.
Putting well, hitting gaps. So hopefully can hold that down on the last day.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you. Thank you again to our sponsors, Knowledge Management Incorporated, the title sponsor for this event, the Lair course sponsor, Nova Disc Golf Association, and the video sponsor, Throne Disc Golf. For Zach Melton, I'm Andrew Fish.
Thanks for watching, guys.